kind of sounds like funeral music. Yes.
What kind of funeral are you?
I am still in the morning, just like you were a few weeks ago when my team beat your team. Yeah. I'm still. It still hurts. Damn it.
It does.
Anyhow, how you doing? Hope you had a good Valentine's Day with your loved ones. Hopefully you loved on them, even though you should be doing that every day. But
happy side piece Saturday.
Welcome to the morning edition. MOURNING, not MORING, because a couple of us are still mourning, but nonetheless, I'm Dub. Chris is on assignment, having fun in the wilderness and doing some fun activities later on that I won't share, but he is looking forward to it. But I do have friends in high places, and joining me is my colleague from the other side of the ball on Wednesdays and joins me in the booth during A7 season, and he's got plenty of Bud Light to spare. It's the Viking Scott McCorkle.
Yes, sir. Shout out to, I think they're doing a great thing. They're coming back. They went and picked up the UFC again and picked up Shane Gillis, too, so they're making the right moves again.
So they transitioned to other
back
other things.
It seems to be kind of a thing. People who transition one way kind of tend to want to go back.
By the way, of course, Quantum 59 is here with us as always. Still, I love the shirt though. I got to give me one of those.
Well, I knew a lot of people were. I had another sports show earlier today. And I knew they were going to be talking junk, like one of them or two of them.
Mm-hmm.
So I came decked out because somebody yesterday was like, "Oh, you don't have your 49ers gear anymore." I'm like, I still have it. I'm still a fan. I'm not going to not be a fan because they lost the game.
Yeah, ain't no way.
Like I said, you die hard through the good, the bad, and the ugly.
Yep.
That's what being a fan is. But yes, still hurting because my team did lose again to the damn Chiefs, to the same quarterback, same head coach, same defensive coordinator. 25-22 in overtime was the final score. Mahomes gets his third in 6 years. Already halfway to possibly joining Brady at the table, who of course has 7. And the forgotten mentioned Charles Haley has 5 because he was the first and only one at the table that had 5 for many, many moons until Brady joined him and passed him and set his own table. But nonetheless, just going back and observing what happened in the Super Bowl, the Niners got off to a good start. They were running the ball effectively because, as we know, we kept talking about the Chiefs' run defense was 18th in the league, and that was a good way to exploit them. But yet, Karlaftis forced a fumble on McCaffrey, which is very rare, and the Chiefs forced a turnover, even though it did not turn into any points for the Chiefs. But that seemingly was a theme of the game, was missed opportunities for the Niners. And, I mean, in hindsight, holding the Chiefs to 19 points in regulation, you normally would feel good about that, which means you might have possibly had a chance to win the game. But
they had a couple chances.
No, there was a whole lot of chances. But I think for me, for one thing, the game, everything defensively changed once Dre Greenlaw got hurt. Once he popped his Achilles coming back on the field after getting ready to come back on defense, it changed everything because, as we know, Travis Kelce only had 1 catch for 1 yard in the first half. He ended up finishing with 9 catches as Andy Reid, the Kool-Aid man, found a way to get his tight end involved in the offense.
He was about to get beat up on the sideline.
Now, on the last show that I was watching here when I was at work, the last sports show they were talking about, he made up a very valid point. And I don't want to go there, but if it had been somebody of color, for lack of a better term, doing that to Andy Reid, yeah. Well, not just that. They probably would have hit the showers. You're done for the rest of the game, so on and so forth. Now Travis Kelce has come on and said that was the wrong thing to do. But some people would ask, why would he get a pass? But again, that's here nor there for that. But it just comes down to it to where, once again,
I think you get a pass because you won the game.
Probably.
Honestly, that's what it comes down to. Like, you can talk about whatever, it could have been this, it could have been that. Yeah, but I could have bagged 3 bitches last week. I didn't. It don't help nobody. 0 for 3. It is what it is. But the results
but you still swing for the fences either way.
Every time. I just think that's really, if they would have lost, it would have been dissected a completely different way.
I think
that's
wrong.
the pass. That's why he gets the pass. and because he was a instrumental part of that win.
Oh yeah, definitely.
And especially once Greenlaw left, like that's the thing that hurts the most. Is like we've spoken about it before, at how great they are at covering the pass.
Yes,
and being able to cover the field laterally and vertically as compared to other linebackers for the Niners in the past. And at the second he gets hurt, and to see him get hurt on not just a non-contact injury, but just getting ready, just hyped up, getting into
normal things that defensive players do when they're getting ready to come back,
just kind of warming up
for another
like,
series.
Hype, get you a couple woos in,
like
and
the whole
get
like
in there.
The whole thing was just I'm like, and I don't know if you watched Inside the NFL on the CW, but I mean they were playing the clip, and then just how Fred Warner just screamed no. Like that's literally how every member of the 49er faithful felt when Fred Warner yelled no, and just how he was sitting on the bench, it just was like he was lost, and Bose had to come and console him and be like, you know what, still gotta
we got to go.
And I mean, it changed because Fred Warner, in a sense, now had to cover Kelsey, because once they put Burks on Kelsey, Andy Reid saw that, exploited it big time.
And then you got Warner out of plug in the middle.
Yeah. I mean, when you have a dynamic duo at linebacker, like you have it with Greenlaw and Warner, you had it with Patrick Queen and Roquan Smith at Baltimore. If one of those guys goes down, it changes everything. Like Patrick Willis was never the same after Navarro Bowman tore his ankle tore his knee against the Seahawks back in 2013, and Bowman was never the same player after that.
That was another man. What's going on in San Francisco? Y'all got some kind of curse or something against linebackers?
No. Well, first off, Marshawn Lynch fumbled on that play because you could clearly see as Bowman is getting his leg shattered, he has the ball in his hand. We're like, that's a fumble. And then on the very next play, he fumbled. Of course, ball don't lie. I mean, some people might say it is a curse. Some people might say the curse of candlestick. I say it's the curse of Eddie DeBartolo, because once he gave up his team and had to give it to his sister and his nephew, that's a whole other story. I mean, the dang city of Santa Clara is still fighting with him about the doggone stadium that's been there for 10 years now. But for me, the game changed on these couple of things. One, as every Niner fan kept saying, can Kyle Shanahan get out of his head? Get out of his own head, meaning, can he not go away from what's working? And he did it again. And we're just sitting here going, why, Kyle? But
watching it happen, like, what are you doing? Why?
Yeah.
What? Why? And what?
You have the offensive player of the year, the NFL's league leading rusher, who found the end zone 20 plus times. Why is he not? Why are you not? You always talk about you want to run the ball at least 30 times to feel like you have a chance and a gauge to win the game. And you stop giving McCaffrey the ball, and then all of a sudden you want to ramp him up again in overtime on that long drive, which took half the damn quarter for you just to settle for a field goal. But for me, two plays changed the course of the game. One, the muff punt, which Ray McLeod, don't pick up the ball, fall on it. You see it hit your teammate. But which is why you're supposed to be yelling, as they teach you, that you're poison or Peter, whichever one of the P words you want to yell out. But nonetheless,
which he did.
Which he did, but Ray.
But also, once it hits on...
Fall on the ball. Don't try to pick it up. Fall on it. Maintain position, because right after that, boom, Valdez-Scantling is wide open, butt naked in the end zone, boom, touchdown. So that play turned to a one-play touchdown drive for Kansas City. Then, early in the third quarter, it's still 10-3. Casey gets the ball after halftime. Jahir Brown picks off the pass. They're in plus 20. They're in plus territory at the 44-yard line. Mm-hmm. You throw an incomplete pass on first down. Why? Then the next play, false start. So now it's 2nd and 15. Third play, you throw an incomplete pass. Now it's 3rd and 15. Get a 4-yard run. You got to punt the ball back. You didn't even give yourself a chance to get any kind of points.
Nope.
There was 4 turnovers total in that game. Points off turnovers for the Niners, 0. For Kansas City, 7. But they got points off of that one turnover, because, I mean, when you force the ball deep in your own territory, it's kind of hard to drive down the field and get points. When Pacheco fumbled the ball at the 2-yard line as the Chiefs were putting together a good drive of their own. But again, everybody wants to throw a shade on Jake Moody about the blocked extra point.
Man, look, I was trying to stick up for Moody all the time, seeing as he's from Michigan.
But see, here's the thing, though. Okay.
He blew some shit.
Okay. But here's the thing. If you add that 1 point, you still lose 25-23.
You're right.
Because let's say
Wait a minute. They would have been up by 4. Kansas City went and
True.
kicked the field goal
But
to
who's-
tie the
they-
game.
they-
but
wouldn't
who's to say that Andy Reid would have not gone for it on that?
They
fourth
might
down?
have, and they might not have made it. So you can't leave any points like that. That's a huge deal. 4 and 3 is huge at the end of a game.
Yeah, because it changes the way you attack going down the field at
Yep.
that point. Like, because now it goes from let's take this to overtime where we know we have
A shot.
Patrick Mahomes.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Like, above anything else, we have Patrick
You have
Mahomes and
15.
Kelsey.
You have 15.
Right? That would be like the Insomniacs going down. Like, you got Scooter and Munchie.
You got Scooter, yeah.
You got Scooter and Munchie. You know what I mean? Bagway and Logo. Like, you know what I mean? Like, as long as you have that shot, like, and if you only have to get into field goal range, okay. But if you have to go drive down and score a touchdown, and then you have to score again on when you come back into overtime to win the game,
You like your chances.
it's a lot of
You like-
pressure.
you like
Whereas
your
if
chances.
yeah, well, if he makes that, and now it's a 4-point game, there's so much extra pressure on having to make and having to drive the entire field instead of just having to get into range and to be on the right hash or on the correct hash. Let me rephrase that a little
Well,
bit.
he still made all of his 3 field goal attempts, and 2 of them were for 50+ yards. So
Yeah.
outside of that blocked kick, he did score 9 of their 22 points.
It was his fault. It was blocked.
Oh yeah, he kicked it low.
It wasn't a great block.
He kicked it low.
He kicked it low,
He kicked
and
it low.
you can't do that. And he scared me all year.
Yeah.
He has scared.
A
I've been so.
liability.
I closed my
liability.
eyes twice in the Super Bowl because I had nightmares of him missing a game-winning field goal.
You know the problem?
He didn't do that though.
You know what it is? And I said this. I said, well, if Robbie Gold would have done that, y'all would have given him the same shit. And don't sit there and act like you would not, because you would.
Robbie Gold didn't do that.
That's not my point.
Robbie Gold doesn't miss.
That's not my point. My point is, if he would have got the extra point block, they would have been giving Robbie Gold the same crap.
Robbie Gold has a track record of not doing that.
I
though.
understand that.
Moody
but
has a track record.
I understand that, but what
missing some important ones.
but what I'm saying is,
right. What you're
okay. For example, the '98 Vikings. Gary Anderson did not miss a field goal all damn year. He misses a crucial one in the NFC title game, and guess what? The Falcons went to Super Bowl 33.
I guess that comes with also being able to have
You got
very
one
little
job.
contact and being able to be like the leading scorer in the NFL.
That too.
Like you have to take some of the good with the bad. Like they get paid very well.
Yes, they do.
They don't. I mean, some of them stay in incredibly good shape. They're still, elite level talents, but kickers are kind of known for their work ethic, not necessarily being there all the time.
Well,
Like you have to take that you take that into you have to take that into account. My bad. You have to take that into account when you're thinking about that. Like, yeah, no, you only get that one mess up. You only get that one.
you're not wrong.
You only have to touch the field so many times. You just can't mess up. It's like the same thing. Like if a receiver, Mike Evans, drops a touchdown to advance, it doesn't matter how good you were all year. It don't matter.
Now
It doesn't
Now here's another issue I have.
But you're not going to catch as much flack as if you dropped 3 balls in the game before and you barely skated on that one, and people are like, oh, okay, it'll be all right. He'll get the next one. He'll be all right in the next one. And then
That was
You-
Terrell.
But listen,
arguably give
I
it
feel
up.
much better about Moody going into next season now because he has like that experience. He's been in big games. He missed one and made some great ones, like
And
Dub said. So I feel much better with him going into next season. But
Yes.
yeah, it was
it
a little
depends on how he
nerve-wracking.
takes it. Like, because if it's a.
But like
if his
he
team
made some
embraces
after
him,
that. You know what I'm saying? So
Yeah.
it wasn't like he
It
missed.
didn't shake him.
He didn't miss the field goal in
He
overtime.
had the Super Bowl record for about 15 minutes until Harrison Buckner said, "Hold my beer."
Yeah.
So I mean, to make a 55+ field goal in the biggest
Super
in the
Bowl
biggest
was
stage that there is,
wild.
I mean, it was pretty impressive. And I mean, he hit that with ease. He could have made that from possibly 60 if need to be. But nonetheless,
I tried to
You-
punt
you-
the football the other day.
you just have
Ain't
to
no
give
way.
credit to Andy Reid, Mahomes, but more specifically, and this is why he's now got the most rings as a coordinator, Steve Spagnuolo, because Steve Spagnuolo saw that Brock Purdy was going to threat them in zone. He saw that, and he did something that most coordinators wouldn't do, which is put your cornerbacks on the island and say, you know what, boys? Make the receivers beat you one-on-one.
Figure it out.
And Ayuk and Debo, for the most part, did not do that because he saw, if we stay in zone, Purdy is going to shred us. And there was a couple of throws that Purdy threw when they were in zone. You're just like, how did he get that? How did he make that? How did he make that fit?
Some spit.
He spit on the pigskin. But I mean, there's going to be a lot of changes in Santa Clara because there's a lot of free agents that are free agents. Even though I definitely would I definitely for sure would bring back Jawan Jennings because Jawan Jennings was the best offensive player on the field that day, and he probably would have been Super Bowl MVP if the Niners did win. I definitely would try to bring him back.
But all season he was slept on. Like people didn't respect him at all.
No,
and I mean he's one of my favorite players on the team.
Well,
because he never failed. He looked great.
I knew about Jawan Jennings at Tennessee, being a Georgia fan, when Jawan Jennings broke my heart catching a Hail Mary in Athens. So I know who Jawan Jennings was. And 2 seasons ago, I'm like, can Jawan Jennings please get some PT? He might not be the fastest, but he can make some catches when you need him to.
Man,
and
one of the things I think we're seeing is a lot of the biggest producers aren't always the fastest guys. Like, yes, Tyreek Hill, yes, he produces. Yes, he's amazing. But for the most part, like your best and most solid guys going down the line are never your fastest guys. They're usually great route runners that can catch the ball, catching contested balls and having great routes. And by what great routes means is the timing is always on point. Like you're not getting jammed off the line, or you're able to get off the line. Not getting held up at the line. Your timing's always there, and you're running the same exact route the same way every time. And then you have the chemistry for the option routes at the same time. Like it's not all about how fast you are and how quick your feet are. If you can run the same route every single time and that quarterback knows where you're going to be, that's how Brock Purdy can make those throws. It's because it doesn't matter where the DBs are. If you can't make a break to the point where the ball is going to be, he knows where you're going to be. That's how he makes those throws. Like
bless you.
If you can do that,
Bless you.
You don't have to be fast.
Well, and Jawan Jennings is tall too. I mean, he's our biggest receiver that gets minutes.
And that reached
Third and Jawan.
Yeah,
and he threw that touchdown pass, and I mean, he was definitely going to be the MVP if they won.
Well, people forget he was actually a quarterback in high school.
Yep.
Jawan Jennings, and
the coaching staff didn't forget. That's why they had him throw it.
That was the Santa Clara special. That worked, and it also worked because Spencer Burford actually knocked into McDuffie because McDuffie was about to intercept the pass, but Burford knocked into McDuffie, which made a clear path for a CMC to run into the end zone. But nonetheless, the Chiefs, I mean, they go back-to-back. First time that has happened since the Patriots did it back in 2003, 2004. But yet the Niners are considered the big favorites to win it in 2024, as now the road heads to New Orleans, Louisiana, and Super Bowl 59.
I like to call it Super Bowl 59.
Well, that is true.
Which means 49ers going to win. Quan 5-9, Super Bowl 5-9. Quanstradamus prediction, 49ers win. Let's quit talking about old stuff. We're talking about last season.
Heard. Can we talk about how Mackenzie Dern looked at those weigh-ins? Jesus Christ.
Did that turn you on?
It did a lot of things.
Did a lot of things. Okay.
It did a lot of things. I don't even. That was wild. Who you got in this Tafa fight coming up next?
That's going to be a good fight. I got top. Well. Okay, so something happened.
Fighting for a long time.
It was supposed to be the other Tafa.
Yeah.
And
he's a step in.
Yeah, and so his brother stepped in at the last minute 2 days ago.
Yeah.
But De Lima, I mean,
De Lima's been doing it for a long time.
Yeah, but he got beat pretty bad by Derek Lewis. That was a quick knockout.
Derek Lewis
I got to go with De Lima just because the late, him jumping in
the late substitution.
Yeah.
But I really like these late step in guys. They tend to shock people every once in a while because they
but
just
I was
swing
really
for the
looking forward
fences.
to this fight.
Yes.
Yeah.
Because I think his brother was going to piece
Yeah, I
him
think
up
he
something
would too.
serious.
I was really looking forward to that. But I mean, that is dope that his brother can jump in like
Can
that.
jump
It's like
right,
you still have to
same
fade the
weight,
top of it.
everything. Let's
Yeah.
go. And then this Mackenzie Dern fight, she's got a wallop in front of her.
Amanda Lemos is good.
Yes.
She's really good, and
Yeah.
she's definitely on the up and up.
So Lemos is minus 155 and Mackenzie Dern is plus 130.
Yeah.
If we're
I got on the UFC site 135.
Oh, okay. ESPN's got it at 155.
ESPN's kind of at 155 and 130. So what is the one UFC fight that you want to see that hasn't happened yet? For you, Scott McCorkle.
Oh, I want to see Conor come back. And I honestly, like, I want to see him fight again because I want to see if he really can come back. Like, this is, and more so than his style or anything like that, like, more so he's a science experiment right now. Like, because in other professional sports leagues, you're allowed to use certain substances when recovering from certain injuries.
Mm-hmm.
And with MMA, it hasn't been like that because USADA tests differently than other organizations. But USADA is no longer doing the testing for the UFC, and they're allowing you to use certain things to recover from specific injuries like bone breaks or major tears and surgeries. And well, Conor took it and was just like, I'm doing it all. And he juiced up like crazy. And if his body can actually recover from that break, then like it's interesting to see how good recovery he's going to get in the future because everybody's looking at it like more so whether or not he wins or loses. Yes, he's a big draw, and yes, it's going to be a great fight to watch. But
And he'll promote
if his body,
and he'll promote the hell out of it.
But
Yeah.
he was already doing that. So with USADA, you could jump out of the USADA pool. But you have to get back in for 6 months before you could fight
exactly
again.
right,
So he juiced up
couple times.
a lot for recovery and for the movie he's in with Jake Gyllenhaal
Yes,
because he's huge in that movie.
Yes, he is.
Probably about 195 in that movie.
he is,
and so
juiced
he
to
was-
the
he was
gills right
juiced.
now.
And it makes sense now. Like people didn't know he was in that movie for a while, so it makes sense now
Yeah,
that he is. But and now with USADA not being there, they have another company. I'm not sure who they're using for that now, but
I
they
can't
still have
remember.
regulations and stuff like that. So it's not like
no,
they
but
could just
it's a
Vitor
newer
Belfort
company
themselves and everybody be on roids. But
Yeah, no,
No,
they're
it's
not going to
different.
go full Pride from Japan. Like
Yeah.
back in the day when on the Pride contracts, they would just have like you will not be tested
yeah,
in bold letters right across the front of it. Like go ahead, soccer kicks to the head and testosterone and steroids. Let's go.
Sweet chin music.
Yeah.
5'9", what's the one fight in MMA that you want to see that hasn't happened yet?
Jamal Hill versus Alex Pereira.
I like that fight.
Oh, that's gonna be great. It's gonna happen. I can't tell you when. I might know, but I can't tell you.
Heard.
Inside information. So, on the main card of UFC,
Poirier and Gaethje, are they going to fight again? I saw they were talking about it.
Poirier's fighting someone else in 300, and I think Gaethje's fighting in 300 too, or two.
Yeah, I just want to see them. I just want to see
so
them.
the
bang
rest
again.
of the card
that is
298,
crazy.
which is taking place at the Arrowhead Pond in Anaheim, California.
And Gary's got a big meal to munch on today.
Anthony Hernandez takes on Roman Kopylov. He will do this for Mother Russia. Then Henry Cedo takes on Marab. I'm not even going to try to pronounce that last
Davalishvili.
name.
Marab Davalishvili.
Say that 3 times fast. Jeff Neal.
Davalishvili.
Jeff Neal.
He's been in the studio, by the way.
Oh, has he?
Yeah.
Nice.
Marab's dope.
Jeff Neal against Ian Gary, of course. Robert Whittaker against Paul Costa, of course. The main event for the featherweight title. Alexander Volansky takes on Lila Topuria. 26-3 against 14-0. How do you see the main event going?
I like Volk, but Top is crazy.
Well, they both fight an orthodox stance as we look at the tail of the tape. Eli has a
Like I think
1-inch
Top
height
might
advantage.
be actually just unstable. Like
Volkanovski has a lot more weapons to choose from. So I got to go with the champ.
Yeah,
man.
no,
he's
that-
been
he-
dominating in this division.
I like the way he fights. I'm just saying that Top is one of those people where, and I can't pronounce that correctly. I always butcher it.
Topuria?
Yeah, I end up
Topuria?
saying tempura every time.
Ilya Topuria.
Yeah, but the way he punches is just if he touches you one too many times, it's night night.
Yeah.
And Volk has like he fights like a pit bull. He's gonna stand there. and his head movement is good, but he's going to stay in that pocket. And he's good because he knows that he's so strong. Once he gets a hold of you, that's fine. But you have to stand in the phone booth to get a hold of somebody. And that's not a great place to be.
But you saw him almost die against Brian Ortega and still win that fight. Like he
Yeah.
was getting the blood choked out of his out of his brain, and he won that fight still. So he's a tough dude.
He's a bad man. That's a bad man.
Yeah.
Did you see that clip with his daughter though?
Yeah.
That's hilarious.
He's been hilarious with all this.
In your view, who is your UFC GOAT?
I would say,
Or if
I had to pick one person,
or if you have a top three, give me your top three.
my top two are John Jones and GSP.
Ooh, George St. Pierre.
John Jones, because I don't think he could be beat with the athletes that are around right now in his skill set, especially if he was to stay sober for any amount of time.
And that's always been the thing with Bones.
But here's the thing though, is that all that partying on the weekend is what made him John Jones.
That's true too.
Like you're not like that without the partying. Like Mike was the same way. You know what I mean? Like you need a little bit of that, but you got to have somebody in your corner that can control it and guide it.
There has to be some balance.
There has to be some guidance on the missile, or else it's just a bomb. Like it's gonna go bad.
All right, now what is it about St. Pierre that you like?
GSP, you could drop him at any moment into any era of any sport and of any combat sport, and he is the best. Any combat sport, and he is the best.
Basically your version of a throwback.
He's any era, doesn't matter. You drop him 50 years in the future, and he would still be better than everybody.
A fight that we'll never see that I wanted to see is GSP versus Habib.
Oh boy.
That would have made so much money too if they could have pulled that off.
And GSP is still in fight shape too.
Yeah,
right now.
But John Jones is the GOAT,
yes.
And Anderson Silva's right behind him.
Yeah.
Silva's right there,
Bones and Silva's definitely my top three.
Yeah,
but I'm gonna go with Jamal Hill because he pays me.
Oh well, there's that.
There's that.
But he's a special
give me more
talent.
money than any other UFC fighter.
He is a freakishly athletic person. It's not. I'm pretty sure he used to work with my buddy Eddie for a little while. Eddie Baracco.
Okay.
I think he worked with him for a little while. Or at least I have met him one time through him at an event one time. But Eddie Baracco's a bad man too.
Oh, so you know Venom. You said Eddie Brock, so I just had to go.
Yeah, Eddie Baracco's he can get like that a little bit.
Oh, he can get like Venom. Okay. Well, speaking to the other sport that disappoints me, Canelo. What the hell? You're making my namesake look bad, man. What like come on. Like you want to
like Quan said, he's ducking and dodging.
No. Oh, he does not want that smoke from David Benavidez.
I don't understand it, man. Fight that man.
Like Benavidez is literally going to every show he could possibly go, even at his own fights. He's like literally begging the man to please fight him.
Canelo is my favorite. I love the way he boxes.
Well, he got his doctorate after he was chasing Floyd for 12 rounds, and then that's when he, in a sense, took off. Because two things happen when you fight Floyd: either you learn how to box, or you just are never heard from again. And like I said, Canelo got his doctorate, but now you're ducking opponents. Most Mexican fighters I know don't duck opponents.
It's like you're not supposed to do that.
It's like if you want to fight, let's fight.
Especially the paycheck that would come off of that.
Yeah. Here's the thing. When he was talking about, I'm going to make this announcement, my question was, okay, I only want to hear two names. I want to hear you're either fighting Benavidez or you're fighting Bud. That's it. I just want to hear those two names. If I don't hear those two names, screw you.
I want to hear Benavidez. Really.
That's the fight I really want, but I know that.
Do you think we get to see it?
No.
Mm-mm.
No. Just for the simple fact that Canelo is scared to lose.
That's unfortunate. He didn't like how that felt when he fought that big boy when he went up again.
Well,
he didn't like that shit. And Benavidez hits hard.
Pivotal's a good fighter. Hence why him and I forgot the other dude's name that is hard to pronounce. Beartrev or something like that, but that's why they're about to unify the light heavyweight title.
Benavidez
coming up real soon. Not to mention that Fury and Usyk will unify the world title in May in Saudi Arabia. Along
Fight
with,
Wilder.
Are we sure?
Fight
No,
Francis.
yeah, he said it's
Okay.
He's well.
He might have a paper cut again.
That was a nasty gash in his right eye, though.
I've seen some nasty gashes.
Not buying it.
I've seen some nasty gashes down on Boulder Highway. That was not a nasty gash.
Wow.
You went there. Oh boy. Nonetheless, Devin
Haney?
Yeah, that's what you're supposed to do with the gashes.
Yes. Haney and Garcia will indeed fight in April for Haney's title.
They did a little promo during Radio Row.
Yes, they did. Basically saying, let's get it on, let's get it on. Teofimo Lopez got booed out of the building in his fight. Looked flat.
What's he been doing lately, though,
I
man?
don't-
He's such a good fighter,
Yes,
and
he
then he
is.
just
He
fell
is.
off and doesn't, like, he looks like he's just fighting for money now, wants to get out.
Do you think he lost the passion?
Yeah, by far.
Well, hey, man.
And I liked him a lot, and it's just like the past few fights, I don't recognize the guy.
I've seen I've seen it with some of the guys, like even with like amateur guys that just fight hard and they like to do it.
Mm-hmm.
They get that bell wrong one too many times, and then once you get like, I used to work out a little bit in boxing gyms. I don't ever say I train because I know real boxers, I know real fighters, and that's not what the fuck I did.
Yeah, you worked out with them.
I worked out with them a little bit, but like I've seen, like you can start to tell when guys are wincing when they're unwrapping their hands and stuff like that after sparring and stuff, like bad men that like you could tell they get that headache that they used to get after big fights. They get it after sparring now. And it starts to frustrate them, and they get sad about it. And then once that goes away, then they know, like, I need to rack up a couple of money fights real quick, stash this away, buy me a Burger King or some shit, or a boxing gym, and get the fuck up out of here. Like that's really all you can do. Now you can hop on Instagram and be a fitness influencer, and
And you never really know the health issues these guys are going through because they're not
aneurysms,
showing you.
bro. The
they're not showing
aneurysms,
you
the torn ligaments that you don't know about. These guys' hands are shattered.
Oh yeah.
Every boxer, when they take them gloves off, man, their hands are all slanted and
they're
crazy.
They're
Bro,
brittle.
I shook the hand of oh man, what's his name? He fought Ali. Why can't I think of his name?
Ken Norton?
Spinks.
Oh, Michael.
No.
Leon or Michael?
Leon. I picked him up when I was doing Uber at South Point, and yeah, man, his hands were like
all gnarled, and
it was wild.
All
He could
them,
barely
like-
talk. Yeah, I mean, he was a very happy dude. This is like a year and a half before he passed away, and his wife's interpreting everything, but you could tell like years and years later, like especially back then, because they didn't do a lot medically for these boxers back then.
And then back then they were going.
He was messed up.
And back then they were going 15 instead of 12.
Yeah.
and bro, do you know what those camps were like? Like we think camps are hard now.
No, it was different.
They're monitored now.
Mm-hmm.
Camps were different back then. Like my buddy, I was
They
just
didn't know
talking
about CTE and concussions like that.
Nah,
They
you were
didn't-
being a
they
pussy.
Didn't care, yeah.
You were being a pussy.
Exactly.
Like
Man
that's
up.
exactly man up. Let's get in here.
Mm-hmm.
Like, oh, you're scared now. That's exactly, man. It's scary how it happens, but also at the same time, like if you're smart enough, you could get enough to buy yourself a little Burger King or something, and you'd be all right.
Yeah.
You can live off of that.
You got to
Yeah.
be smart with your money. Yeah.
Yeah.
Like those guys, but like fighters especially, they're known like to have the want and the ability, not just to have the skill, but the mentality to put yourself in front of all these people with the possibility of you getting knocked out. Like, what most people's worst fear is getting knocked out in front of their female. What the fuck's gonna happen? You get knocked out in front of millions of people? But that their only thought is, I'm gonna go knock this motherfucker out, I'm gonna get this check, and I'm gonna go home. That's a very like impulsive and dangerous mind to have a bunch of free time, a bunch of money, and a bunch of people that are scared to say no to you. Not just scared to say no to you because you're bankrolling whatever the fuck they have to do, but literally scared of you. Like it's a different. We end up putting these fighters in real fucked up positions. They end up losing it.
Well, that's what backlashing promoters do. I mean, Don King got away with it for so many years. And I didn't even know he was still promoting fights. He just disappeared off the face of the earth. But I mean, stuff like that happens. But nonetheless, there is an NBA All-Star Game weekend, which I'm gonna not pay any attention to that.
Where's that at?
It's in Indianapolis, Indiana.
Hmm.
And I think the big thing is Steph Curry going up against I forgot her name, but they're supposed to be
Sabrina Ionescu.
They're supposed to be going at a 3-point contest. Also, how about this for shits and giggles? James Richard Garoppolo tests positive for a PED and then gets cut by the Raiders, which was basically going to happen after.
Oh, did they finally cut him?
Yeah. Well,
Can
I mean,
you call it performance enhancing if your performance wasn't enhanced?
Well, it depends on where he was enhancing. He dates porn stars, so performance might have enhanced there.
I mean, look, go Blue Chew.
Brought to you by Scott the Viking McCorkle.
I've been begging for them to sponsor me for a long time. I'm one of their biggest spokespersons.
But yeah, supposedly he got caught with a PED. He'll be losing the first 2 games, which the writing was on the wall for him once Ziegler and McDaniels got fired. So supposedly, according to the report, is he violated the policy by reportedly using a prescribed medication without using a valid therapeutic use exemption from the league. So
Viagra. It was Blue Chew. That's what that was. He was taking gas station boner pills. You heard it here first.
So
I'm just joking.
So
this is for entertainment purposes only. I'm gonna get sued. God damn it! I don't even have any money. I'm gonna get sued already. Already talking bad about trannies and talking shit to NFL players. What the fuck you bring me on here just to get in more trouble?
Stop it! I told you I was prepared.
Hey, I at least I showed up with clothes on.
I just realized you're wearing Mr. Voorhees on your hoodie.
Yeah, and I was at the lake, so that's fitting.
Of course. But it was not Camp Crystal Lake.
I wish.
Oh, boy. So his suspension would void his salary guarantee for the 2024 season, allowing the Raiders to move on from him, which he signed a 3-year, $72.75 million deal with the Raiders. But now the dead money would drop from $28.4 million to $17.1 million. So the Garoppolo era ends in Las Vegas with not even a hitch. Also in addition, unfortunately during the Chiefs parade there was a shooting, and 2 juveniles were charged with crimes connected to the mass shooting, which ended in one person passing away, which is quite sad.
Damn.
To which no information can be released because these guys are not even adults. They are the age of 17, so we don't know if they're going to be tried as adults, but hopefully for those families that are suffering in Kansas City, hopefully they can get some peace as they moved on, which unfortunately one of the the person that passed away was a very popular disc jockey in the Kansas City area. She was known as she hosted a show called The Taste of Tejano on station KKFI-FM in Kansas City. So prayers to her and her family and her kids, which is just a senseless thing. As once again, you can't even go celebrate a championship without having somebody be an idiot. So there goes that. So Quan 5-9 as the it's not exactly the halfway point because they've been past 41 games, but what's the one thing you want to see your basketball team do post All-Star break? Or what can they do?
Just keep winning. I mean, they have something to play for now, and that's what they were waiting for. They wanted to cruise like they did last year a little bit. They're in a better position this year.
Did you like?
They've been winning some games.
Did you like the Spencer Dinwiddie signing?
Oh yeah, it was for nothing. Because we were talking about trading for him anyway. So being able to pick him up as a free agent was pretty dope. He's a really good player, and I think he's somebody that we would try to re-sign after the season. So yeah, I think that was a big pickup for them.
All right,
but we've seen what they can do when they are playing for something. Like, it's not a bad team. We're still one of the best teams in the West. Hopefully someone else takes out Denver in the playoffs because that's the only team I'm really scared of in the West.
You're not wrong. I'm not convinced that Minnesota can keep that up for a full-fledged season.
And even if they do, even if they go into the playoffs with the best record in the league, I don't trust them in the playoffs yet.
No. I mean, OKC, they're a good young up-and-coming team, but, I mean, the thing is, can you win in April and May? That's the big, big thing. Because, as I've said, the trophy still resides in Denver, Colorado, and until you beat the Nuggets or eliminate them, they're still the team to beat because they hold what everybody wants, and that's the crown. In regards to my Warriors, keep Clay on the bench. Have him keep coming off the bench because that seemed to motivate him with his 35 points, his season high against the Jazz back on Thursday before the All-Star break took place. Even though I still do think they need a big. They currently sit right now in the play-in, so as we go to the All-Star break, so here we go. Celtics are still the 1 seed in the East, they're 43-12. Cavaliers are the 2 seed at 36-17. Bucks 3-7 under Glenn Doc Rivers as the head coach.
That's good.
Well, I mean, keep in mind the Bucks were 30-13.
I ain't watched no basketball since I was in prison. I'm lost. It was 2019 when I was watching that shit.
Well, that's when my Warriors got their hearts broken because everybody got injured against the Raptors.
Yeah, I lost like 17 soups on that game. I remember.
Oh wow! But anyhow, Bucks the 3 seed at 35-21. Knicks the 4 seed, Philadelphia the 5 seed, and the Pacers hosting the All-Star break. They're the 6 seed. Miami, Chicago, Orlando, and Atlanta will be in the play-in game in the East. In the West, Timberwolves are the 1 seed, Thunder 2 seed, 3 seed the Clippers, Nuggets 4 seed, 5 seed are the Phoenix Suns, Pelicans at 6. Mavericks, Kings, Lakers, and Warriors are all right now in the play-in if the season were to end today, but it's not because they're at the All-Star break in Indianapolis, Indiana, and there's a whole lot of holding going on now as we're looking at the preliminaries. Ooh, knee to the face.
Yeah, no, they're getting it.
I don't see any teams in the West that aren't in the play-in at least getting in there. I think we're pretty much set. I just think some of the teams that are in the play-in might move up to the actual, 1 through 6.
Yeah,
but I don't see anybody, even Utah. Utah's the only one with a chance, I think, to move up. But I don't think anyone does. I think the people that are in there right now are going to be in.
Yeah, I mean, it looks like it'll be just fighting for positioning, for lack of a better term, because, I mean, my question is, can the Thunders keep up with this pace, or more specifically, can Zion keep up with the pace that he's playing with? I mean, I know who Brandon Ingram is.
It's not keep up with the pace because we know he could play like that. Can he not get injured?
That's true, too. Or knock his foot out of his own doggone shoe, which that really did happen.
Mm.
No, he was in college, he was planting his foot, and literally his foot came out of his shoe.
In front of Obama.
Yeah, in front of Barack, yes.
That's right when you want that to happen.
But yeah, his whole Nike shoe just had a big fat hole in it and just exploded. I'm just like, how does that happen?
But I think you're going to see Lakers make a big push for 5th or 6th. I don't think they want to do a play-in again.
No.
Are we going to get a basketball team?
Oh yeah, it's definitely going to happen.
Next 5 years.
It's maybe even less than that. I mean,
well, within the next 5 years.
Yeah. But yeah, I mean, that's why they're building that arena.
Pay attention then.
I mean, that arena that they're building is specifically to host a basketball team. So it's definitely going to happen.
I didn't get that contract, so.
Oh, you didn't build it?
Nope.
No. Would you have built it if they let you?
God, yes.
Okay. That's
I
all.
can only imagine. Man, look.
Well, I just had to ask.
Oh, my God. I wouldn't be at my regular job no more.
I believe that. So, what's the one thing you want to see from your Lions coming into 2024?
More the same.
More the same?
More the same. Like, keep the attitude, keep the aggressive play calling. I know, like, now that we're a little bit past it, I mean, you keep that energy, keep going. Like, just continue to build on what we can. If we can, probably a little bit more work on our D line, the interior of our D line a little bit.
Give Hutch some help.
Hutch needs some help. And if we could I like our O line right now.
It's one of the best in football. That's for sure.
So if we can just keep our O line and our tight end, that would be great.
Mm-hmm. Laporte's on a rookie contract, so he's not going anywhere.
Right, but if we can keep them all together, keep them all happy, like I just want to see more of the same. Is what I'm trying to get at. Long way around it.
Well, I definitely don't think you're. I definitely don't.
We could use some help at DB. Probably.
I definitely don't think you're the Lions are a 1-year wonder. That's for certain.
No safety help, maybe.
The draft is in Detroit this year, so I know Detroit will be ready as all get down. Quan, here's the ultimate question.
Everybody's credit card is at risk.
No, there's been talk about possibly Brandon Ayuk possibly might be holding out. What's your thoughts on that?
He'll be fine, and we'll pay him.
Mike Tomlin.
Stop it.
I saw that picture too.
Yeah, it's Mike Tomlin. Or Omar Epps. Pick one.
I really didn't even see it, but like there's a small resemblance, but not really.
Yeah, no, it's not as much as.
No, you got to pay Ayuk.
Omar Epps and Mike Tomlin look more alike than.
Yeah.
Stop it.
Yeah. I'm still convinced they're the same person, but whatever.
You've never seen them in the same place at the same time, but
nope.
No, Brandon Ayuk, I think we'll be fine. Like it wasn't even him saying it; it was his brother or his brother's friend, putting stuff out there. But I mean, Debo kind of did the same thing, right? And we thought, oh, we might lose Debo, and it's just, it's.
But the only problem is, and I've always been an advocate for this. Holding out is not necessarily the best thing because the year Debo held out, he did not necessarily have his best season statistically wise. So that's why I always just say honor your contract. And then everything else will come into place because I'm just saying, well, if Ayuk does this and then he struggles, again, it's because you didn't honor your contract.
Well, we saw that with Bosa too, right? I mean, it took him a while to, and I think that hurt the defense.
Mm-hmm.
Because it took him a while to get into game shape. I would say three or four games before he actually looked like Bosa again, even physically, like not even just how he was playing, but he was a little. He was still training and working out, but he was a little overweight when he finally signed.
Well, yeah, because it could be. I mean, as they all say, and Scott can attest to this. I mean, there's game shape, and then there's football shape, and it's totally different.
There's no amount of drills you can do. There's no amount of like individuals you can do. There's nothing you can do to replicate the game.
Yeah.
To replicate like even 7-on-7s or whatever, like to replicate that. You can't do it. To replicate game speed, and it's different when you're going against a practice squad. You know that guy. And granted, the talent pool is small in the NFL, and they know each other's habits and everything. You're not playing against the same guy every week, every day. You get to know certain guys' habits. Like no matter who you're trying to play like, I know if I give you a hezzy inside, you're gonna try and roll around out backside, and I know I can just I can do a fake hit, and I can go, and you're gonna be there, and I'm gonna look like an all-star on every single play. But then come game time and it's Kyler Murray, you don't know where he's gonna go. You know what I mean? Like it's different when you don't line up against the same guy every time. And I think it was a little bit of that. It puts a little bit of hesitation on your game because you're reading instead of reacting. Reading takes more time. Reaction only comes from game time experience.
That is a great analogy.
Yeah.
Very great analogy. So, out of these free agents, Quan 5'9", Randy Gregory, Chase Young, Sam Darnold, Javon Kinlaw, Deshaun Gibson, Sebastian Joseph Day, Oren Burks, Cleveland Farrell, John Feliciano, Kevin Givens, Raymond McLeod, Demetrius Fowles, Ross Dwelly, Brandon Allen, Chris Conley, Logan Ryan, Matt Pryor, Jawan Jennings, Ben Barch, Charlie Warner, Terrence Mitchell. Who would you bring back to Santa Clara out of this list?
Jawan on offense, and on defense, Kinlaw struggled. He's been hurt a lot.
That too.
I like him, but he hasn't panned out the way we thought he was. But I still like him. I do like Kinlaw. I would like to bring back Chase Young. I just don't think we're going to be able to afford to bring him back.
Well, would you bring him back at a 1-year prove-it deal? Because
I definitely would. And he might do that because he likes playing with Bosa. So he might do that.
Yeah, because you can't loaf every other play if you don't play with Bosa.
Yeah.
Or you don't play opposite of Watt. You can't do that.
And Gregory didn't impress me. I mean, he did a few things. There was some good stuff he did. I'm not going to say he wasn't good. But he's not the same Gregory that was with Dallas.
No, obviously not. But I mean, the thing is with Chase Young, he's probably trying to seek a big deal. And you
can't do that taking plays off.
And no, exactly. You took some plays off. Now, granted, in the Super Bowl, he played fantastically well.
Awesome.
He was awesome as
But
heck.
I would love to see him and Bosa with a full training camp and see what they can do under a new DC, who I hope it's not Brandon Staley. Those rumors were kind of make me want to bring Steve Wilkes back.
Shit.
And I know Staley was a great DC, but he was running the DC as a head coach too, so I know it's a little difficult, but I didn't like him at all in LA.
Well, the one year that he was DC with the Rams were number one in a lot of categories. Now, granted, that helps having Aaron Donald be, the quarterback.
Aaron Donald.
Yeah,
There was a lot of people there on that defense.
true, but it does help when you have
Yeah,
big.
definitely,
It
100%.
definitely helps when you have 99 in the middle.
But if he can't focus just on being the DC, who knows? But I mean, I don't know.
Well, there's just some people that are just better coordinators than head coaches. It's always been that way. If they decide to go in house,
Which I think they should.
I would probably say let Johnny Holland give a shot. Johnny Holland played in the league for a long time. He's been on the coaching staff since 2017. Obviously, he has coached Dre Greenlaw and Fred Warner into the linebackers that they're in. That would be my choice. I know Chris O'Hara.
We're good at doing that, and
Yeah.
I wish we would stick to that. To be honest,
Yeah, you're not wrong. You're not wrong. I mean, heck, I would say, make Clay Kubiak your offensive coordinator. I mean, Khan needs to take the pressure off himself and be the head coach because, I mean, it's one thing to run an offense, but when you are responsible for the whole operation, you need to have guys, you know what, you run the plays. And I know Shanahan is stubborn when it comes to that.
he wouldn't be able to let go of that.
I know he wouldn't. And
He called a timeout in overtime because he couldn't let Wilkes DC properly. He called a timeout and be like, "No, we're not doing that."
well, here's what people don't understand. Wilkes was not even running his defense. He was running Shanahan's defense.
Kind of.
Well, it was more Shanahan's defense than Wilkes' defense for sure. Because I mean, even during the middle of the season, Wilkes was saying, "I'm still trying to learn the scheme." I'm like, whoa, what? You're not even running your own defense? Because again, that's like saying, "Yeah, Buddy Ryan, we want you to be our DC, but we don't want you to run the 46." Buddy would be like, "I'm running the 46. I don't give a damn. Screw you. I'm running my defense."
But don't take a job because that was in the interview knowing that.
Mm-hmm.
So it was just dumb. It was a dumb hire. It was dumb for him to take the job knowing that. So I blame everyone for that.
It was not the right fit. True.
And that's the thing. I'm for the Wilkes firing because I didn't like how it was all year. But I like him still. I just don't think he was right. It wasn't a right fit, and I think they messed up. Doing that. And the defense was still good this year, but I think it should have been dominant with all the pieces we had picked up.
It was good the first 5 weeks of the season. Then once it tailed off during the 3-game win streak, as Tim Ryan said, it became a bend but don't break defense, which oddly enough, they still only gave up 17.5 points a game during the regular season, which was third in the NFL behind KC and Baltimore. So, I mean, you were still a top 5 scoring defense, even though sometimes you would get gashed in the run game like Detroit was doing us in the first half.
But I said this before. I can't remember if I
that.
told you or if I was on another show. Our red zone defense under Salah and DeMarco Ryans. I keep calling him DeMarco. I want some pizza.
No, I want pizza.
But
pizza does sound good.
The red zone defense was like, we just felt like, okay, we're stopping them.
Mm-hmm.
I never felt that way under Wilkes. And you could look at numbers. Sometimes numbers don't tell the whole story because there's just some things where it's like you don't feel as comfortable.
Yeah.
Under Robert Saleh, like I felt every time like we're stopping them at the red zone. If we didn't, it was a surprise.
Well, I mean,
so we'll see because we got the talent on defense. So that's why I'm not worried. I know we could be right back on top again. We'll see if the letdown was too hard to come back again and go another season without having injuries.
Well, I mean,
I don't know how much harder McCaffrey can train, but I feel like he didn't get the love he wanted out of that game. Like he didn't get the work he wanted out of that game.
No, he didn't.
So I don't know if how he's gonna take that, if he's mentally prepared enough for that. Because the fact that they didn't just turn around and just hand him the ball the whole game is wild.
Well, I mean, there's
him and Debo. It should have just been when things aren't going right. Him and Debo.
Well, I don't think Debo was healthy because they try to implement him.
He wasn't healthy. No.
You don't.
They try to implement him with a jet sweep, but it just wasn't popping. I mean, well, Trent Williams picked the wrong time to have a bad game because he did not have a very strong game in the Super Bowl. The left side, where it's been the strong side of the O-line most of the season, had some costly penalties with the false starts and the holding, and they really couldn't get away from that. But here's my point before we close. how do you let Chris Jones get a free pass at your quarterback? Because as the play is developing, and we're talking about in overtime,
It sounds like we're talking about the sick with it Insomniacs game.
but I mean,
But
how you let Chris Jones get free? Because you clearly see Ayuk is wide open in the back of the end zone. Jennings is going to be wide open towards the corner of the end zone, and you're up 7. To which again, and I go back to Kyle. So you go for it on 4th and 3, get it to Kittle. Kittle gets the first down, to which you eventually kick the field goal to lead by 3 to where before the Chiefs in overtime. So you mean to tell me you were that ballsy to go for it on 4th and 3? But you can't get 4 yards on 4th and 4 in overtime, really? Because even if you don't get it, you'll have to make the Chiefs go 95 plus yards, or maybe like 80 of those yards to set up a game-winning field goal in overtime. But you did not trust your offense, nor the offensive player of the year, to get yourself 4 yards.
I don't understand. It's like not. I don't understand not giving him the ball.
Well, that's like Pete Carroll. Why you didn't give Marshawn the ball?
It's the exact same thing.
But that's here nor there.
It's the exact same thing.
But nonetheless, thank you to my good buddy Scott the Viking McCorkle and his Bud Light for coming on and joining me as Chris was on assignment. He'll be back next week.
Man, look, I appreciate the heads up phone call because I was at the lake.
And I'm surprised you didn't come back redder than you already are right now.
Oh, bro, my fishing pole is still in the bag of it. It's still in the truck. I hope it's there when we get out of here.
I don't know why. I don't know why somebody wouldn't steal a fishing pole.
Crackheads steal everything.
That you're not wrong. You're not wrong. Anyhow, we do have a YouTube page, Talking Ish with Dub and Chris on YouTube. Please feel free to please subscribe and like and share with your friends and all that good stuff. Chris will be back next week, and we'll get his thoughts on what he saw in Super Bowl 58, and then we will talk about other sports. And, of course, the Combine is right around the corner, and then the new league year starts, and then it's the draft. But nonetheless, as always, special thanks to Quan59 for doing what he does best, making our shiny heads look nice and shiny. And
Chris, chill on the memes, bro. Still Saturday morning. You put like, are they really in your mind that hard? You didn't even win a first round playoff game.
No, he's getting back.
One person
he's
individually.
Getting back. He's getting back at a couple of our friends that talk a lot of ish. That's
but
who,
it's been.
That's who he's really.
But you
been going in.
if you made the Super Bowl and your team lost to Jordan Love.
That's rough. Yeah, that's rough.
You're not wrong. But I'm pretty sure he'll have something to say about that next when he comes back there. Anyhow, special thanks again to Scott the Viking McCorkle for joining me. Special thanks to you guys watching on YouTube and on the Talking Ish YouTube page for 5'9" for the Viking. I'm Double A, and we're just a whole bunch of guys talking some ish. Enjoy the rest of your weekend, you guys. Be safe. Take care of yourself. God bless you.